Hey guys, this is part 2 of what if Deku was a mixed breed of a Speed Stinger and a Night Fury. What the fuck is that? Nothing, okay. I didn't write any notes for this part. This is me just winging it. And, okay, so, Deku, after the sparring matches that he won all of them, after the 2-week break, they, Class 1B comes over to Class 1A's dormitory after the sparring matches to see for Monoma to be mad at them for no reason, and for everyone else to make sure that they're okay. Once they open the door, they just see this big ass dragon. Okay, they just see this dragon sitting there cuddling with some girl that they don't know, and they're just like, what the fuck is going on in here? 1 second. Samantha wakes up, and so does Deku, and he just looks at them, lets out his teeth, and does a growl, and Samantha was like, no, bad Deku, and then he felt bad for him, because he did something that she doesn't want him to do. Mono says, what the hell is that thing? Samantha says that it's a dragon, our class pet. What do you want? Why do you guys get a class pet as a dragon? Get a dragon as a class pet? Because he wanted to be our class pet. And Monoma is really mad because he loves dragons. His favorite heroes are the dragon riders. So he asks if. And Deku got up, walked up to him, picked him up, threw him on his back, and then just flew off because he could sense that he wanted to fly onto him. So once Monoma got back, he had the giant smile on his face, and everybody was scared. All of Class 1B was scared because they haven't seen him smile once. That wasn't like a crazy smile. He gave everyone in Class 1B a turn, so they have no reason to be mad at the Class 1A. Rest of Class 1A comes out, sees Deku with Samantha talking in Class 1B, and they ask what's going on. Samantha responds with, oh, they just came here to make sure that we're okay. They asked if they could just stay over here for the night because they wanted to hang out with Deku. And everybody in class is just like, I don't see why not. I mean, like, sure. So they stay the night at the 1A dorms. I'm doing this so that way I have a reason. That's fucked up. I'm doing this so that way we have a reason to make this longer. So that you guys have a longer video, so you can just binge watch it. Gonna probably do a double upload, actually. Yeah, this one. Okay, so they spend the night, and they all sleep on the couch with Deku, with all of them being near Deku. Everyone, every single one of them. Okay, there. Other classes hear about the dragon and how they allow people to ride him, when it's really Deku that allows them to ride him. Shinso and his class comes over. Not only Shinso, because he's the only character I care about. He comes over and says, "Hey, is the dragon here?" And Deku walks up and he just sits down like, "Rawr." Shinso says, "Hi, what's your name?" He tries to say Deku, and like, "Ruh-ruh." And then he says, "Gotcha. Give me a ride." And Samantha sees this. Are you mind controlling our dragon? Shinso says, yes, it's a beast. It shouldn't be here. It should be on Burke. And Samantha said, it wants to be here, but you guys probably captured it and already put it under our mind control. Sure, totally, man. Just release him and see what happens. Fine. He releases the mind control, and Deku just instantly, eyes go slit like, teeth come out, roars, stomps on him, puts him to the ground, roars, and starts charging up a blast. Samantha doesn't tell him to stop until for a minute, because it takes a long time. He's charging that bitch up. Samantha says, Deku, stop it. Everybody in the classroom comes out, and they say, Deku, no. He stops, and then just goes over to Samantha and sits over there. Shinso's like, that dragon's a demon. You put it under my control and forced it to go somewhere it doesn't want to be. You're more of a demon than it. And also, he's our class pet, motherfucker. Why do you guys get a class pet? We get a hamster. First of all, he's our class pet because he's my friend. And he's okay with being a class pet. If he didn't want to be the class pet, he wouldn't be here. He can fly on his own. So Shinso fucking hates that dragon. And Deku's the 1A mascot. Is the UA mascot, just this big ass dragon. Okay, they go to all the press meetings. Okay, with Samantha, just whenever the 1A is on the news, Deku's just there, holding up a sign, cheering, like, rawr. That's what they do. So the news knows that there's a dragon there. And, the dragon riders also know. And every time they, and they bought a TV. They bought a fucking TV because they knew the sports festival was gonna happen and they want to see Samantha. Because they care about her. They became friends. And they were there for, 2 days. I'm retconning some of the stuff. This is unscripted for the first time, or unnoted, because I don't have notes this time. So, they just see this big ass, no, Deku's, really fucking big. He can carry the entire class on him. Hold on, how big do I want him to be? He's around the size of a car, 2 cars. No, 1.5 of a car, so, 8 people can be on him at once. No, the entire class is able to fit on him, and he doesn't really care, so they just walk out on this big-ass dragon. And everybody's like, why do they... No, everybody that's chill is walking is A on Deku, or is B to the sides of him. And they just see this and oh, woo, and they all scream out, Deku, woo! Because their favorite person there is Deku. Because they think that it's a fucking dragon as a mascot, and it's a class pet. That's fucking badass. And All For One is watching from home, and Inko is as well. Is like, yeah. Because that's their daughter, and what they consider to be their dog, or cat. Because he acts like a cat. Deku flies them up to the, takes them to the place where the meeting is. They have the race, and they let Deku participate. Okay, he can fly, but only for 2 seconds at a time. And he's fast as fuck. He's, flash fast. He's faster than Ida, a lot faster than Ida. So he's holding back a lot to stay with everybody. So Deku's holding back, running with them roar. No, they use Deku as a obstacle. What the hell's that? They use Deku as a obstacle, as a rawr. Because of how strong and fast he is. They use him as an obstacle. He's flying above the 0-pointers. So whenever people come close, he just does a blast, and kills them, because he doesn't want to actually hurt them that bad. He sees Samantha, and he just dives down, uses his tail, picks her up, and then just... No, he sees Class 1A, he dives down, grabs them by his tail, throws them on top of him, and he just zooms off. They're holding on to him for dear life. They're like, what the fuck are you doing, Deku? Bakugou absolutely loves Deku, and Deku loves Bakugou, because they have a secret bond. Bakugou doesn't show it, but he adores Deku. Absolutely adores him, so he's just in his head like, God damn it, I love this fucking dragon. Not that way, we're not gonna have any bestiality in here, motherfuckers. Don't try that shit. Don't fucking try that shit, bitch.
What else? Fuck.
Yeah, that's better. This is not my art, by the way. That's Tusky. This is Tusky's art. I don't know what the fuck it's how to read cursive. So they get class 1A. All of them are ahead, and they also in cavalry battle. He put Samantha in at the first part of his head, and then it goes Bakugou, Todoroki, and Bakugou in second and third, because those three were the ones that passed first. Everybody else has the same thing. So they get their teams. Deku teams up with Bakugou because he's like because he's one of his favorites. Yeah, so Aizawa was like, can we have Deku be as one of the teams, and the way that we'll do, if someone teams up with Deku, Deku has to choose them, and it can only be one person. It can't be a set of three that has a dragon. So Deku runs over to Bakugou, picks him up, throws him on a saddle, and just roars, trying to say that this is my partner. Samantha feels, and everybody in class 1A is just staying the fuck away from Deku and Bakugou, because they know that Deku's fast as fuck and strong as fuck. Okay? And it's an explosion with plasma blasts and flamethrowers.
So, like, I'll stay the fuck away.
So Deku actually steals a lot of points for Bakugou. He gets a lot of points for Bakugou, and Bakugou goes from third to second and almost in first. Well, no, he can't really get first because that's 2 million. So Bakugou's in second. Deku grabs everybody in class 1A and puts them up in the stands, and whenever it was someone's turn, he would just grab the enemy, put them on him, and just fly them down. That's what he did. So, Samantha versus Shinso, because we can't do Deku versus Shinso. They're in the stands already, so Deku just grabs Samantha, he grabs Shinso, not wanting to, so his eyes are normally, like, toothless eyes, big and wide, but when he gets to someone that he doesn't like or he's in battle mode, slits. That's how he works. So when he looks at Samantha, his eyes are wide, and when he looks at Shinso, his eyes are slit, and Shinso was just like, fuck that dragon. Fucking hate that dragon. So he picks up Shinso and Samantha, puts them down gently because he's not that much of because he's not a dick. He understands battles and how it's unfair if someone is like weakened and shit. Samantha, let's say the quirk that she uses for this is like the quirk that she uses is telekinesis, sort of like her mother's. That way it makes sense for her to have that quirk. Close that. So she just uses telekinesis, and she puts Shinso out of the ring, and he screams, "That's not fair! You can't do that. Weren't you And Samantha's just like, "Weren't you planning to mind control me?" Shinso looks away, pissed off. Deku grabs Samantha and Shinso and just puts them up back in the stands. They have like a special little spot for Deku to land, so that way he can pick them up too, and they have his like little resting spot where he blasts down on the ground and then he just worms it and then sits. And they did all of that just for him because it's a fucking dragon and they love their dragon. All of UA loves that dragon. Even the third years that believe that it's not Muriel, Nejire, and Taniki that have met. They haven't met Deku yet, but all the other third years have. But most of the third years have, and second years.
So, yeah, they do that. What else?
Next fight is Deku he carries everybody down for it. So next fight is Samantha versus Todoroki, and since she has telekinesis, she can like protect herself. Telekinesis is OP as fuck, cause yeah, telekinesis is really OP. So no, Todoroki still wins. So Deku's a little sad, but he still treats them carefully as if they're his own family. Puts them up gently. Cause Deku doesn't know who his dragon family is. He only has his human family. Cause he's a science experiment, and they don't want to tell him because it would hurt him. Probably that's what they think. So next fight is Todoroki versus Bakugou. Bakugou wins like in canon, exact same way. So then they say, time for the final match. And Bakugo's like, I thought I won. And Deku just flies down. And is like, and his expression says, I'm so sorry. I didn't plan for this. They just said, this will be cool, let it happen. And Aizawa says, Deku will be holding back by 75%. And everybody hears it and is like, boo, boo. And Aizawa says, it's so that we have an actual cool fight and you can see him. They start off the match, and Deku and Bakugou rush at each other. Deku, tries to hit him with his tail, and he's not allowed to use his stinger. They said, you can't use your stinger unless absolutely necessary for this match, or else it'll just be boring. So he tries to throw a tail whip, Bakugou explodes over it, and he's holding back as well because he doesn't want to hurt Deku. But Deku gives him a face that says, "Don't hold back. I'm a fucking dragon. Start holding back less if I actually have to." So Deku hits him with 100. So Bakugou hits him with 100% explosion. And let's say Bakugou actually has one for all, and he hasn't used it yet. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna say. He hasn't used one for all for this fight. He doesn't use it. He's just using 100% of his regular power. And that leaves a burn mark on Deku. So he tries to scratch him. He's avoiding all the battles that can actually hurt. And the cuts are really shallow because he doesn't want to hurt him. He then does a headbutt, goes for a bite. It's a weakness bite because he doesn't want to fucking hurt him. Bakugou then says, Aizawa then says, Deku, you can hold back by 25% less. Deku's claws raise up a little bit more, and his tail starts to leak out poison. No, it's not allowed to leak it out until until another 25%. That's when it's allowed to leak out, and he can throw it around, burning people, sort of like an acid. At 50% less power, that's when he can't do it. 100% is when he can actually inject you. So Bakugou's dodging all the acid and is throwing explosions. Deku bites down on his leg and throws him to the ground. And the expression on his face the entire time is, I'm so sorry, I don't want to do this. Heck, when he sees the crater, he literally gets onto, he literally out of shock on accident, jumps up, puts his he does the thing where you're he puts up one of his hands and I'm sorry, because he doesn't want to hurt Class 1A at all, because they're his friends. They're his family in a way, and he really cares about them, so he doesn't hurt them. So, and Deku and that was enough to knock Bakugou out, because of the bite pain, and he didn't know that he was still holding back at 20. He was holding back at 25%. At that point, he was holding back by no. So he was only allowed to use 25% of his power. At that moment, he was using 26. No, 27, 28, 30% of his power, so that way he's not too OP. He can easily take out Nomos, though. So he's good amount of power. He's powerful. Internships. Deku has to choose who to go with. And let's say that he goes with Todoroki as an emotional support animal. He puts on the vest and everything. Because that's what he is for Todoroki. Todoroki sees him as his, like, emotional support animal, and Deku sees himself as Todoroki's an emotional support animal. So he throws on the vest, throws Todoroki on top of him, and then flies to Endeavor's agency. They get there, and Endeavor says, "What is this mutt doing here?" And Todoroki just says, "This is an emotional support animal." And Endeavor is just like, "Fine, fuck it." And when that mohawk thing, I'ma say that when it's all the way down, it means that he's not gonna do anything. When it's up a little bit, that means that he's ready for a fight if he has to. And when the teeth are out and it's at that position, that means I'm a fucking fight you, motherfucker. And when it's all the way out, like a full mohawk, that means that someone's in trouble. Cause for the Ia thing, you know. So the Hosu City attack. You know, this is what happens at Endeavor's agency. Endeavor is doing his normal training to Todoroki, and Deku sees this, and then he just bites on Endeavor's hand when he's about to burn him too hard, and Endeavor is like, "What are you doing?" And Todoroki just thanks Deku, like, "Thank you, man. Thanks. That's a good dragon." He takes out like a sheep. No, they have a little cap. They have a person at UA that can shrink animals or items. So, and what they do is that they shrink sheeps. They shrink sheeps and other animals for Deku, put them in capsules, and for whenever someone's out with Deku, and he does something good, they A, give him fish, or B, give him a sheep. Sheep is a treat for Deku, so he throws a sheep out, and Deku just eyes light up, and he just gobbles it down, because he's the size of 1.5 cars, SUVs. 1.5 SUVs, so he's pretty big. He then allows them to carry on, but Endeavor's holding back a lot more because he doesn't want Deku to bite him again. And they won't put Deku away because everyone at UA loves Deku. All the heroes like him, except for Endeavor. Because heroes go to UA and they see Deku walking around, and Deku just stops for every hero that he sees, and he licks them. That's what he does, and they're just all like, "I love this dragon. I will die for this dragon. If he gets hurt, I'll kill everyone in this room and then myself." And so the Hosu City attack, Deku's quail thing goes, I think it's called a quail or a sail, sort of like a Spinosaurus sail, goes all the way up, and Todoroki notices, and he tells Endeavor danger is approaching because Deku's thing went all the way up. That's like that's a warner thing, yeah. And then he looks, and then he takes a sniff, and he's able to growl out, "Ida, danger." So Todoroki hops onto Deku and says, "I gotta go save one of my classmates. I'll be back as soon as I can." They go there. Stain sees the fucking dragon, and hears the beep, boom. He gets hit, and Deku just lands there, and he sees Deku the dragon, and he doesn't respect Deku, just that he said, "If a dragon were to ever come and fight me, if someone rode a dragon and was to ever come and try to take me away, he would go without any problems." So he just walks over, grabs, and tells Todoroki to put me away. And Todoroki asks why, and he does the little explanation thing. He grabs Ida, Indiana Jones man, Stain, and then he flies off to first a hospital, then first a hospital, then a jail, then a prison, then what the fuck is that? Okay, nothing. And then he goes back to Endeavor, and he helps put out the fires by, like, hitting the, hitting the, you know what, since he's blue, I'm gonna say that he's also part aquatic, so he can breathe water. He can, like, take the water inside of his body, and the water inside of him regenerates, and he's a really good swimmer. So I'm gonna say that's where the that thing comes from swimming, I guess, and he can, so he blasts out a ton of water to try to put out the fires, and he does, and they congratulate, and they're like, yeah, that's the dragon, that's the man. Toothless is there. Deku loves Toothless. Okay, they're bros. Deku runs over to Toothless. They do their little dance, their bro dance, hug one out. Do a hug, and then they then the paperwork. Todoroki was injured fairly badly, so he takes Todoroki to a hospital. Dog shows up, and Deku's still in the hospital room. The dog man jumps back a little bit, and Deku just looks at Dog Man and is like, moves away because he notices that he's scared of him. Todoroki is like, you're scared of this guy? This giant cat? And the dog is like, what do you mean cat? That's a dragon. And Ida and Todoroki both say simultaneously, dude, he's basically a dog mixed with a cat. He's a dog cat. He's a class pet. And he hears this and is like, so he's safe? And he says, yes, he's an emotional support animal. Who has a dragon as an emotional support animal? And Todoroki just says, I do. He's really supported me emotionally. So, exact same thing happens, just that Deku doesn't get a slap on the wrist, he gets credit. No, Deku and Todoroki get credit, because he's scared that Deku would get mad if Todoroki doesn't get credit, so he gives them credit. He flies Deku and Todoroki back to the dorms. And everybody is there. Samantha runs up to Deku and is just like, you're okay, right, man? Because Dad would be pissed if you got hurt. And Deku's just like, rawr, motherfucker, rawr. Shit. There's not gonna be a Deku ship because it's a dragon. But Samantha's gonna be with Bakugou unless he wants someone else. If he wants someone else to be with Samantha. And Deku supports all Samantha and Bakugou. Deku supports it, but he also supports Todoroki and Samantha. He's okay with it. He's like a dad giving consent. He would put them together all the time. That's what he did. Okay, hold on. I fucked up. Constantly trying to get them together. Both of them. He doesn't know which one to prefer.
So what happens after the,
What happens after the,
Oh, good. What happens after the internships?
License exam. Deku's with Aizawa, cheering, and he's like, and he's trying to sit down normally, like a normal human. Oh shit. Okay. You guys can see all the failed attempts at there's no destroy all humans, but that's just something I did. You can see all the things. Do I want that to be the picture? That to be the picture? I was a little picky motherfucker. For those, but I settled on those two because I was like, fuck it. Shit, I'm a dumbass. Okay. Last thing exam, Deku's up in the crowd, cheering them on like a mom at a soccer game, like, roar, roar. Each time one of them pass, and the other classes are, and all the other, teachers there that have their classes, they're just, like, wondering what the fuck is going on. And Aizawa is sitting right next to Deku, and Miss Joke is there as well. And Deku wants Miss Joke and Aizawa to get there, so he literally takes his tail, puts it under Aizawa's arm, and forces him to put his arm around Miss Joke, and Aizawa just looks at Deku like, stop it. Deku doesn't listen, he's just like, and he puts up and he attempts his best to put up a thumbs up. And Aizawa is just like, when this dude learns too much from us. So Miss Joke thinks that, oh, he actually wants to go on a date with me. So Deku tries to sound like Aizawa, so he does a little roll that says, and Miss Joke is like, is your dragon trying to get us together? I think. And Aizawa just looks at her, and says, I think he is, and he won't stop until it actually happens. So, would you like to go out on a date with me? I'm not going to talk about that, but they're a thing now. Yay! And Deku's just so happy. He's so happy. He's clapping. He's flying. He's jumping around. He's looking for a ring to give to Aizawa. He finds like some rusted nail, gives it to Aizawa and says, roar. And he does a growl that sounds sort of like ring, and Aizawa's just like, I'm sorry about him. So they pass. Just that this time Bakugou is able to pass because he has Deku to calm him down. He's an emotional support animal for everyone in 1A. The entire school, almost. Okay, and Deku's wearing his vest. When he goes down, he runs up to Class 1A and just hugs them all. He makes he puts his tail, like, on a curve to really, like, walk up onto Deku. As I was standing there, pointing at the dragon and doing the motion that says, move, come on, let's go. I want to go home. And all the other schools are just looking at it like, that's not fair. That's not fair. I want a dragon. Deku looks at them and he pushes them. He looks at all the classes that look really sad because they want to get onto him. He pushes off 1A because he's a good person. Gently takes off everybody and puts on one class at a time, and there's like 15 classes, so they spent a good minute there. The students are begging their teachers to allow us to wait there for a minute, so they do, and just everybody's happy now. Deku's a happy boy. Okay, he's a good boy, very good boy. Okay, next, what's next? Eddie. Since everybody passed, there's more people to work on the Airy thing. Oh, they met the big three after, the entrance license exam, I think. I'm pretty sure, yeah, that's what happens. They meet the big three, and Muriel and Nejire are just hovering around Deku, petting him, and Deku's having the time of his life. He's happy. You see a giant grin on him. He's getting scratched behind the behind. What is the thing that's behind his jaw? Like, it starts from his nose, goes to his eye, goes past his eye, and then it goes up as like little ears, I guess. I guess those are his ears. He's getting scratches behind the ear, and he's just happy. They tell Tamaki to get over here and pet this fucking dragon. He does, and Deku realizes what's wrong with him. So he goes over, he walks away, gets his emotional support vest, and just and he runs at Tamaki. That's what he does, because he realizes that he's too quiet. So he's like, "Okay, I'm sorry." They do the fight. Muriel asked to fight Deku, and Aizawa says, "You really shouldn't." Mirio asks why, and he says, "He beats All Might when we tell him to hold back." And they see this giant cat. Like, Bakugou has a laser pointer, and he's doing what they do with laser pointers for Deku, and he doesn't think anybody's looking at him, so he's doing it, and he just has a giant fucking smile, and they all realized, Bakugou actually has something to smile about. So they don't talk about it to make him not mad. So they get scared of Deku because what if he gets mad at them? But Deku won't. He'll never get mad at these big three. The big three. I think I'm gonna end it here. Yeah. Wait, I think I can do it one more. Yeah, no, that's it. I hope you all enjoyed. Have a nice night, and I'm gonna post this. Hold on. If I say tomorrow, it's gonna sound as if I, like, changed my mind on a dime. And did something stupid. Cause, like, yeah. Well, tomorrow for me, right now, it's, like, 1:38. So, in the morning, yeah. Post this in the morning instead of right now.